right, so on letter D right here, the smallest number is, if you compare these and think of them as change, is 25 cents, 33 cents, and 50 cents. So the smallest of these numbers is 1/4, and then 1/3, and the biggest is 1/2. Letter E, 6/7. I'm just going to divide 6 by 7 on my calculator. So 6 divided by 7 is 0.857. And then 7 divided by 8 is 0.875. And then 5 divided by 6 is 0.833 or 0.833. So then, since the tenths place are all the same, so I'll write them this way so we can compare the places. So you always want to line up your decimals. I didn't do a great job of that, but I got a little close. All right, so the tenths places are all the same. So then we go to the hundredths places, and it tells us that 5/6 is the smallest, 0.83. And then we have 0.85, so 6/7 is the middle, and the biggest number is 0.875, so 7/8 is the largest number. Oh my goodness, I need a new pen. All right, now I do want to go over the last page of these problems because you have a test on Wednesday. So these are a few that I thought we should talk about real quick. Now don't forget, today, our emphasis today is decimals, but last week we looked at fractions, and you do have about the same number of fractions as decimals on your test for Wednesday, so make sure you're reviewing last week's lesson as well. So for these 5 problems, number 1 says I bought 4 items at Sam's for $12.80. Each item costs the same. What is the price of each item? So what are we going to do here? Well, if we have a total of $12.80, and that was divided by 4 items, then to get our final answer, how much they were each, we would divide. So 4 goes into 12 3 times with a remainder of 0. So then we bring down our 8, bring our decimal straight up. 4 goes into 8 twice. It goes evenly with nothing left over, and then finally we have to place a digit here just for a placeholder. So the answer is that each item is $3.20. So then number 2 asks to write 3/8 as a decimal. So we know that all you have to do is divide 3 by 8. So 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. All right, number 3, a recipe calls for 5/8 of a cup of sugar. How much sugar will we need if we make 1/4 of the recipe? So it says 1/4 of the recipe. So remember me telling you, if you see of in a math problem, almost always that means you're going to multiply. So a lot of people would think, oh, we need to divide this by 1/4, but that's not right. We're not dividing it into a fourth equal pieces. We want to know what is 1/4 of 5/8. So this is actually a multiplication problem. 1/4 of 5/8. So we're going to multiply straight across. So 5 times 1 is 5, and 8 times 4 is 32. So if we're going to make 1/4 of the recipe, we would need 5 30-seconds cup of sugar. I have no idea how to measure that, but that's the answer as well. Anyway. All right, number 4, a plant grows 2 3/4 inches each day. How much would the plant grow in 4 days? Well, what would we do here? So for one day, it'd be 2 3/4 inches. The second day, it would be double that. The third day. So anyway, what we're doing is we're multiplying by 4. So to multiply fractions, we have to make this mixed number an improper fraction. So we're going to go around the world. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3, 11/4 times 4/1. And then we could cross out these 4s. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So the answer is 11 inches. All right, now number 5, I know that you have a problem like this on your homework. It's a little tricky, so let's talk about how we would figure out the value for A and for B. So naturally, if there were 5 equal places from 0 to 5, then we would know that each one of these lines represents one whole. But if you notice here, this 5 is not divided into 5 equal places. It's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal places, or equal parts, I should say. So basically, we're going to think that each one of these little marks is going to represent 5/4. So 5 divided into 4 equal parts. So 5 divided by 4 on my calculator is 1.25. So 5/4 is the same as 1.25. And what is 1.25 as a fraction? So 1.25 would be 1 1/4. So 5/4, which is equal to 1 1/4, or as a decimal, each one of these lines represents 1.25, okay? So 1.25, the second one would be 1.25 times 2. So 1.25 doubled is 2.5. This will be 2.5, 2.5. So then we're going to add 1.25 to 2.5. So 1.25 plus 2.5 is going to be 3.75. And that is the first question. What is the value of A? So the value of A is 2.5 plus 1.25 is 3.75. Okay, and then the next space would equal 5, because 3.75 plus 1.25 is equal to 5. So A is, the place of A is 3.75. This is a number line. So then it asks, what's the value of B as a mixed number? Well, this is 5, right? So this space is going to be 5 plus 1.25, which would be 6.25. And then 6.25 plus 1.25 is 7.5. But it doesn't want it as a decimal, right? It wants it as a mixed number. So basically, if every one of these spaces is worth 5/4, or let's just use 7.5. So we could write 7.5 as 7.5, right? And we want to write that as a mixed number. So we're going to multiply 7 times 2, which is 14 plus 1. So this is going to be 15 halves as a mixed number. Okay, does that make sense? So you would just add 1.25 or 1 1/4 for every equal space. All right, so basically that is it. Those are the practice problems I wanted to do. So hopefully this went well for you guys. Decimals are kind of easy, especially when you have a calculator. And so you will have your test on Wednesday. So I feel like hopefully if you guys did the homework and the quizzes, you'll be well prepared. So on Wednesday, you got to have all of Unit 2's, both of the homeworks. Yeah, both of the homeworks and both of the quizzes for 1A, for Unit 2A and Unit 2B, all of that completely finished. And your homework will be live, your test will be live Wednesday starting at 6 o'clock. So make sure you're online for that. All right, guys, well, I'm going to sign off. I hope everyone has a great day. And I will talk to you later on.